Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and we're back with another mod review. This time it's two mods, but they're linked up together in an effort to create a special and unique campaign for Morathi, more in line with her 6th edition army list. So rather than playing a generic Dark Elf army with some Slaansh corruption and some demonettes that you can't really buff up, now you can, and you can do so much more. And this mod I've been playing for a few hours now. I don't know how it slipped under my radar, as those of you who are used to this channel know that I'm a very big fan of Slaansh, and really this mod is exactly more or less what I expect from a future update. Well, with a few changes here and there, but let's not waste any more time and jump right in. Alright, so with Morathi herself, not much is changing, barring the fact that she's got a new unique skill line, which will focus around getting the Lash of Slaansh spell. You'll get the Mark of Slaansh, loads of bonuses to your army like extra speed, even increased physical resistance to herself. So if you want to run around with more Slaansh units, and believe me, you want to with this type of army, because it feels really good, you're going to want these buffs. And yeah, all pretty powerful in general. Now, since you've still got a lot of Dark Elf units, and in fact a healthy mix of Chaos Warriors, Demons, and Dark Elves is probably the best way to play, you also can get access to getting a upgrade for your Dark Elves by giving them the Mark of Slaansh. Keep in mind that you will lose Frenzy and Madness of Cain and all that type of stuff with like Witch Elves, but yeah, let's be honest, an extra 5% physical resistance, Strider, immune to psychology, and extra speed kinda pays for that, doesn't it? Now, to be able to get these marks, you'll have to pay with slaves, so you need to keep your slaves up. But then again, it's not that difficult, especially with this new slave system. Nothing has changed in terms of adding new tech, but the tech tree has been changed to update it, so you can actually get some buffs for your Slaansh units, which is going to be very useful. It's something that is a massive issue in Vanilla 2, where you can get Demonettes Vanilla style, but not be able to update them, upgrade them in any way. So now you at least have incentive to be able to use your Slaansh units, which is always very useful, obviously. And obviously you do have access to a few new buildings. There's two mods, like I said, so the first one's going to focus around adding in the Chaos Warriors, and these are devoted warriors, so they're not exactly 100% of the normal ones that the Warriors of Chaos will get, but they still get access to Murderous Prowess, so yeah, they can be pretty deadly. So yeah, you've got those there. It's just Chaos Warriors, and you can get Aspiring Champions. Nothing like Chosen and all that type of stuff, but it kind of makes sense because really your focus is a mix of everything, not using everything that everyone has. Oh, and there's Furies too, but I mean, you've got Harpies, and either way, you're not going to use both. Or any of them, to be honest, or at least that's my way of playing. The other building, which is the second mod, is going to focus around your demons, and this is also going to be your new control building, which will also spread corruption. So all in all, you're going to get a lot of benefits from this. It'll also help with the recruitment capacity for Death Hags, and in general, you're going to have at least one of these buildings, because this means that you can get yourself some Demonettes, you can get them Exalted to, you can get some Heartseekers. Even the Chaos War Shrine is available in this building, so that means that you can mix and match. Already you can see that the roster is absolutely massive, so you can just play around, and I really hope we get something like this in the future, just, you know, vanilla style. Your Spellcasters will also have access to the Lore of Slaansh. These are your Supreme Sorceresses. You can have the Mark of Slaansh with a bunch of generic Lord options too, so you can have a lot of fun here. It's very Slaansh-y. It's, well, you know, it's exactly what I wanted. Now, obviously, you can't have a Slaansh Dark Elf campaign without a new Lord option, and these are the Anointed of Slaansh, which can also have the Slaansh traits, which kind of helps, really. So, melee-based character, but also able to do some magic, which is a mix of the Lore of Dark Magic and the Lore of Slaansh. It's got skill points that can focus up on boosting up your Dark Elves and your Slaansh units, so this is the perfect one if you want to have a nice hybridized army. Again, the Anointed is stuff from the tabletop from way back in the day, so you old school fans will be quite nostalgic over it. I'd say if you want the true Slaansh experience, you either want these Lords or these Supreme Sorceresses with the Lore of Slaansh, as that way everything keeps on theme. But this is probably the best Lord to go for, especially since you've got the mount options of the Steed, the Cold One, or a Chaos Dragon if you want a flying kind of tanky hero, well, lord. You do have access to your own unique skill lines too, which is focused around a little bit of the older stuff, you know, with Ancient Noble, but then you've got some stuff kind of reducing upkeep for certain things, like a new unit, which are the Devotees of Slaansh, the Devoted Cultists. We'll talk about them a little bit later. Extra Slaansh Corruption, just in general, loads of things just to keep on the theme. And again, everything works out super, super well. The campaign itself feels pretty good. You can see him on turn 32. Later on, I'll have a clip showing for turn 41, and I've already expanded quite a bit, and it's because just having some extra magic, or even being able to have the Mark of Slaansh on some units, because it does make them kind of useful, especially when fighting against, say, the Norscans, or even the Lizardmen, because the physical resistance is very useful for them. It feels great, it feels great. And again, this is what Morathi should be in the future, because it's a hybrid faction from a very much loved period of Warhammer Fantasy, the Storm of Chaos, and it's just different. It's completely different to all the other Dark Elf factions, so this means that you can actually replay the Dark Elves and have a different experience. It's great. Obviously, at the very beginning, you won't be using a lot of demons until you start getting, you know, the buildings to unlock them. The better demons and even the Chaos Warriors themselves are, what, tier 3, tier 4 upwards? So it's going to take a while, but even just being able to get the Mark of Slaansh is just going to give you a nice little change, and you're going to be able to meet a lot more enemies head on. I've been expanding in multiple directions, and I've not really felt like I've been overextending myself. A little bit later on in the campaign I did, but that was more because Valkyr and then Malekith turned on me, and yeah, that was fun. Honestly, the mod is a breath of fresh air, because the Dark Elves kind of need a different experience, and this definitely brings a different experience. So again, everything relating to the Chaos Warriors will be very similar to what you're already used to with the Warriors of Chaos. The big thing here is that they can get murderous prowess. So imagine Chaos Warriors, which are already decent at doing damage, especially, you know, the ones with the Hell Scourges, and then murderous prowess proccing when they're bogged down with a bunch of enemies. I honestly think it's something special. And you get something a little bit different with the Aspiring Champions of Slaansh, which are obviously using the models of the Chaos Chosen, but then again, it kind of fits really well. And yeah, again, Devastating Flanker, stats are all good because it's an Aspiring Champion. The only thing different is that they're also getting the benefits of using Hell Scourges, and you can still buff them up quite heavily with tech, so they will be very, very violent. Having these then being supported by some other Chaos Warriors, some Dark Elf Dark Shards, and then having the enemy flanks being attacked by Heartseekers, it leads to a pretty fun army, honestly. It's actually really, really fun. The Devoted Cultists of Slaansh are a new unit, but they're actually pretty good, despite the fact that their stats might not be too great. They've got anti-infantry, they've got dodge, they've got expendable, immune to psychology, decent physical resistance. I really like these. For early game that you can get them, you can pretty much start replacing your Bleak Swords and just have these ones. I actually really think that these perform a little bit better than the Bleak Swords anyway. Support them with some Dark Shard firepower in the background, and you're pretty much golden. And then finally, the Lord option. So this is the Anointed of Slaansh, a melee character who's also a hybrid, as he can cast. He's got access to a decent amount of spells from both the Lord Dark Magic and the Lord of Slaansh, and in general, it's just kind of nice to have a themed character up there. I mean, yeah, you've got the Sorceress with the Lord of Slaansh, but this one's a melee character that you can have up there in front. It kind of replaces the need for Dreadlords. I mean, you're still perfectly fine to use a Dreadlord, but why would you when you've got one of these, especially as Morathi? Really, it's the perfect way to theme. Just a few units here and there, and then adding in a Lord option to just kind of allow for more themed armies. I think that's really, really important. And yeah, it's not a big mod, but it actually is really, really good. Like I said here when I was just showcasing the stuff that I'd taken over, it's a really fun campaign. This is right now 4 a.m. This is the time that I'm actually recording this because I started playing and playing and playing, and yeah, I've been here for quite some time now. And it also just kind of shows how really it would be nice if some factions were made to be completely unique, very similar to that of how Champions of Chaos did it with the 4 Chaos Warrior Lords, where they have their own unique gameplay, Yes, they're using mechanics from other factions, but it makes them replayable. It gives you a reason to play as all 4 of them and then play as one of the Undivided Lords. And I think something like this mod is the perfect example, does the same for the Dark Elves. You can go play the other Dark Elves and then come back and have a completely new campaign with Morathi. But with all that being said, the mods themselves can be found in the description below. Keep in mind that there's 2 of them and a separate mod which kind of just links them up, but all of the links will be found there. And I honestly think that if you want a different campaign with the Dark Elves, if you want to have some fun, especially since the Dark Elves right now do need a little bit of a fix-up, then this is something that you're really going to enjoy. But with all that being said, let me know your thoughts about the mod in the comments below. Let's start a bit of a discussion, because you know, Slaansh is the best Chaos God. The more Slaansh stuff, the better, right? And I'll see you all again very, very soon. Have a good day.